Hello, and welcome to Boise School District's Literacy Best Practices, a K-12 professional development module. As you move through the slides, feel free to pause at any point as needed. In the summer of 2022, Idaho passed a new law, Idaho Code 331811, which requires teachers in grades K-12 to receive professional development on the characteristics of dyslexia. There are two components to this law. The first is that K-12 educators will receive professional development in instruction and intervention for students with characteristics of dyslexia. At the conclusion of this module, you will have completed this legislative requirement for the 23-24 school year. The second component to this law is that no later than the beginning of the 2025-2026 school year, all Idaho teachers or administrators with the certifications outlined on this slide will be required to earn one or more credits of professional development, identifying characteristics of dyslexia, and understanding the pedagogy for instructing students with dyslexia and providing dyslexia-focused interventions to recertify. Enrolling in the one-credit Dyslexia and the Science of Reading online course offered through the Boise School District and NNU meets the recertification requirements beginning in 2025. This professional development focuses on characteristics of dyslexia and best practices in literacy for all students K-12. Dyslexia is a specific learning challenge that is neurobiological in origin. It is characterized by difficulties with accurate or fluent recognition of words, poor spelling and decoding abilities, a deficit in phonological awareness or being able to recognize and manipulate sounds within words and sentences, often unexpected in relation to other cognitive abilities. There are many misconceptions surrounding characteristics of dyslexia. One myth is all students with dyslexia demonstrate the same problems with reading. Actually, dyslexia exists on a continuum, and students with dyslexia demonstrate different levels of difficulty learning to read. Dyslexia is a reading disorder that is based in vision problems, which causes people to read backward or mix up B and D. Actually, dyslexia is a brain-based disorder associated with impairments in the brain regions associated with manipulation of sounds, not vision. People with dyslexia cannot learn to read. Actually, reading may require significantly more effort and academic support for someone with dyslexia, but these students can learn to read. Intelligent people cannot have dyslexia. Actually, dyslexia impacts individuals with a range of cognitive skills and with average to above average intelligence. Some individuals with dyslexia have well above average abilities in problem solving and creativity. However, these above average skills do not exist because an individual has dyslexia. All students with dyslexia will perform poorly on tests of phonological processing. Actually, while many students with or at risk for dyslexia get low scores on phonological processing tests, approximately 25 to 30% of these students will do fine on these measures. This is why it is so important to collect multiple sources of data to identify all students who are demonstrating word reading difficulties and to provide appropriate evidence-based reading instruction. There is a silver bullet to remediate dyslexia. Actually, providing students with dyslexia with evidence-based reading instruction and the necessary supports to succeed involves many individuals within a school system. Schools should screen all students for dyslexia risk, provide high-quality, evidence-based reading instruction to all students with or at risk for dyslexia, identify supports for students who need them to succeed, and individualize intervention for students with dyslexia. Continue to nurture students' interests and strengths to help them become successful learners. When thinking about literacy best practices, it's always important to begin with assessment. In the Boise School District, we currently use iStation and STAR as our universal screeners for literacy. Students who score below benchmark are given Tier 2 screeners to identify areas for additional support. Some common examples of Tier 2 screeners are Core Phonics Survey, orthographic assessments, and Ames Web fluency probes. Providing rigorous and intentional Tier 1 instruction creates equitable opportunities and access to learning for all students. In Tier 1 instruction in K through 3rd grade classrooms, all students should engage in meaningful phonics-based decoding instruction. Based in the science of reading, this includes high-frequency word practice, explicit systematic decoding instruction, including phonemic awareness and phonics, encoding practice, including guided dictation of words and sentences emphasizing the phonics pattern, and reading of the connected decodable text. In Tier 1 instruction in the 4th through 12th grade classroom, word study is equally valuable as students engage with multisyllabic words and more complex texts. This should still include explicit instruction with hands-on practice and connected text. Fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension are also essential Tier 1 components of rich literacy instruction. All students benefit from exposure to grade-level content and standards. Tier 2 and Tier 3 interventions take place when assessment indicates that a student needs strategic or intensive support in a specific area. This is in addition to participating in Tier 1 instruction. An evidence-based intervention process may look like identifying students, determining needs, creating flexible groups, choosing evidence-based interventions, providing feedback to students, and monitoring progress to determine next steps. Thank you for participating. Please reach out to your district support if you have any questions.